Weber and the idea of the qadi justice, the rational justice in the Islamic tradition. You see, if you move from I would say the Western legal tradition, where you keep fact and law separated. So law is general, we have general principles. Of course, your final judgment is about irrationality. I mean, you can find any reason why you have lots of different opinions regarding the same way, and an author has given a verdict about a camel with 3 legs, which is completely different from an hypothetical camel with 5 legs. And the arguments have been completely different. But if you just keep aside this distinction and you move from the convergence between fact and law, so the creation, the fact, is what God's will has been prescribed, then all the literature of fiqh and all the books that we have that are totally confusing from a Western perspective acquire some sort of rationality. So of course it must be particular, casuistic, explanatory to the deepest detail, because each singular moment is unique as a reflection, as a mirror of the complete divine freedom and sovereignty, which is never bound by wisdom. So in this sense, I'm not claiming that we have to move away from our logos or our nomos, but to look at the diversity in conceiving some sort of sovereignty which is there, which has been absorbed in the story, in the history of Muslim society by Imam, by simply referring, describing. You see, the process of describing is a way of legitimacy in the sense that they are not competing at all with God. For them, God is the only source. And then I do not prescribe, it's the description that I am giving to you, and it is the source for you to be a good Muslim. Then, of course, you have all the other competing powers in the history of Muslim societies, the Sultan, the Ottoman Empire, local customs, which actually combine all together in the history of Islamic law. What I intended to do here was to signify as much as possible how much that kind of normative discourse, if we can name it in this way, cannot be completely understood by legal categories or law as it has been shaped. I mean, I cannot trace the beginning of this distinction, probably in the use, in the Roman use, where you have general categories distinct from the reality. But here, the distinction makes, at a certain point, no more sense. Otherwise, again, all the libraries of fiqh is just a waste of efforts by crazy people trying to formulate their own irrational opinions about everything, which is not the case, because there is a rationality behind that we have to understand as much as possible.
Thank you very much. I know there are more questions in the audience.